Bonjour. So today you're going to be watching the first video on a series of videos that are all about asking for opinions, complimenting, and criticizing clothing. So today, like I said, the first video is just going to be about asking for opinions on clothing. So let's go ahead and get started on that. So in order to ask for someone's opinion on clothing, we have 4 really easy to remember questions. The first question is this first one right here, and this is going to just be comment tu trouves? The best way for you to be successful in watching these videos and having these videos is to listen and repeat every time that I give you a new word or phrase. So, répétez, comment tu trouves? If you notice here, we have the 3 ellipsis dots, which means that we do have to add in the article of clothing that we're asking about. So, for example, comment tu trouves le jean? Comment tu trouves la ceinture? Comment tu trouves is just asking, how do you find or how do you like this piece of clothing or this item? The next one that we have here is right down here, répétez, elle me va. Elle me va. Again, we've got the ellipsis dot, so that means we have to add the article of clothing. Elle me va les chaussettes. Elle me va les chaussures. This again is just asking, does this suit me? So if you're at a store with your friend and you're like, hey, elle me va le jean. Do these jeans suit me? You know, how does this look? Does this look okay? The next one we have here, you probably have it in your notes as only 1 sentence. I have it here as 2 only because I broke it down. In the book and in your notes, you probably had it as the te and the vous slash, like te/vous. They mean the same thing. The only difference is when to use them. So I broke them down into 2 so that we can easily see that. So the first one we have here, répétez, il te plaît. Il te plaît. Or we can use il vous plaît. Il vous plaît. Okay? Again, they mean the same thing. The only difference is with il te plaît, we're going to use that with one person, and it's got to be somebody that we know very well or that we're familiar with. Whereas the il vous plaît is going to be used with more than one person, And also it can be used with one person who you don't really know, somebody you've never met, or somebody in a respected position. Il te plaît or il vous plaît both mean, do you like this, whatever. Again, we've got to add the clothing because we see we have those dots. The last one we have here is compare and contrast on clothing. Okay, so we have the 2 sets of dots there. We see we're going to need 2 different types of clothing or accessories because we're comparing. Tu aimes mieux ou, all it means is, do you like this better than this? So, répétez, tu aimes mieux ou. Par exemple, tu aimes mieux le pantalon ou le jean? Just to compare and contrast. So let's go ahead and move on. So on this next slide, on the next few slides, I have some examples here for you. How would I go ahead and ask someone if they like this dress? Here it is right here. So if we were asking our friend if they like the dress, we could ask them in a really simple, easy way. What is that way we could ask them? Bien, we could use comment tu trouves la robe. And don't forget that we need to add in the piece of clothing that we're talking about so that our friend knows we're asking about the dress. Another thing we could ask about here is pretend that this is your dress. And here we have our dress again. And you ask your friend if it suits you or if it's your style. What's a way we could ask them if it suits us or if it's our style? Bien, elle me va. And then again, we have to add in our la robe so we know they're not talking about la table or les chaussures, les cheveux. Elle me va la robe. Another example, we got this dress again here. How would you ask your friend if they like this dress? We already know that we can use comment tu trouves la robe, but there are 2 other ways also that we could ask them if they like this dress. Bien, il te plaît la robe, or il vous plaît la robe. Bien, bien, bien. And again, we've added la robe to the end of every single one of these questions so we know we're talking about the dress. Last one here, par exemple. Now here you see 2 items. That means we're going to use the compare and contrast. But before we get to that, I want to give you your mot mystère. So your mot mystère for this homework assignment is going to be vêtements. V-E-T-E-M-E-N-T-S, vêtements. I'll give you an extra bonus point if you can write down next to vêtements, what is vêtements? What are vêtements? So back to our last example here. Again, we're going to be comparing the two items. How would I ask you if you liked one better than the other? So let's say I want to ask if you like the dress better than the pair of golf pants. What would I ask? Parfait. Tu aimes mieux la robe ou les pantalons? Tu aimes mieux la robe ou les pantalons? So this really concludes our recording, your first video recording. I hope that you were paying really close attention. I hope that you were repeating after me and were practicing and quizzing yourself. If you weren't, I would suggest going back and watching the video 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Repeat as many times as you can. We are going to be doing an activity with this tomorrow. Your test at the end of the chapter is a speaking test. The only way you're going to get better and the only way you're going to learn is if you keep repeating and keep practicing. So have a good evening and à demain.